Hello and welcome to the Many Hats Podcast, where we explore the fascinating journeys of entrepreneurs and leaders who have donned multiple hats in their respective fields. Join your host, Stuart Forsyth, along with special guests, as they delve into the stories and insights of individuals who possess a unique blend of talents and expertise, making them true multidisciplinarians. Now, let's dive into today's episode.
Welcome back to the Many Hats Podcast. This is the second time I've done this. My name is Stuart Forsyth, and today we're still in season 2, and I'm getting to welcome Sara Bingham. Hi.
Hello.
I think it's so funny. Anytime that we officially start, guests just kind of get...
Straight backed. I don't know where to look.
Look at me.
Yeah, look at you. Right, that's fine. Right, that's fine. Okay. I'm hoping that I relax into it.
You will. You absolutely will. How are you?
I'm all right.
Are you quite nervous about being
I'm not. I didn't think I would be nervous because my job is predominantly speaking.
Predominantly speaking?
It is. That's just what I do. Like, if I don't speak, then it's my job.
Have you ever done a podcast before?
Never done a podcast.
This is your first?
I would love to have done one, so I'm glad that I'm here. This is my first podcast.
Would you do your own? Do you think you could do your own? Because you're a gabber.
Oh, I'm a talker. I think if I had a wee bit more time, but I don't really have any time, so that's something. And if I maybe started it, I don't know how you feel about it, because if this is just season 2, but there's so many, and it's trying to get the name out there, and I just think, is that really a battle that I'm willing to fight?
I mean, podcasts are becoming something it's quite an untapped field, and then particularly West Coast Scotland, or even Scottish podcasts. Like,
is there many?
No, I mean, I don't come across many, and the ones that I listen to are like, you know, like the Joe Rogans and the Stephen Bartletts, like,
yep.
And so
I think it must be hard as well to decide like what you like listening to. Is that what other people like listening to? The first ever podcast that I was trying to get steps, and I was like, right, listen to a podcast, everybody does this, and I was walking around the pond at the beach park,
right,
and it was about client expectations, and I was like, oh, I'll listen to that. So I always like to see if I can learn something new. And at the first 15 minutes, the lassie spoke about her dog and her dog's Instagram now, and I'm like, is this what folk are listening to? Like, I thought I was coming on for client expectations. So it's trying to find the right one, and maybe lots of other listeners like listening to that part about her life, but I'm like, just get to the crux of it.
Get to the value. I think that's what it's all about, is that whatever you're listening to, and even the socials as well, like, if it's bringing value to your target demographics, then get to the point. Get there really quickly, you know, rather than, like you're saying, talking about your dog and all sorts. But so on that note, you run a business called Sassy's.
I do, yes.
MD in Irvine probably could tell you about Sassy's.
Well, that's what I thought, but I remember my staff told me the other day, she is from Kilmarnock, and she didn't know about Sassy's until she moved here a couple of years ago.
That's criminal.
So, I know.
That's criminal.
I know, but you just assume when you're in that environment every single day, and you're posting on social media and you're putting it out there that you own a business and it's called Sassy's, and it's been in the town for quite a long time, that you would just assume that, like, well, everybody knows what Sassy's is, regardless if you come or no, you know what it is. But there you go.
No, I mean, everybody that I know knows what it is and who it is. So, but for anybody who's listening and are watching, Sarah's really glad that we're on camera today. So if you're on YouTube watching this, then great. But if folk that haven't heard of Sassy's, what is Sassy's?
Sassy's is a beauty salon. Throughout the years of Sassy's, we have done many, many treatments, but now, this time, it's mostly just brows, waxing, spray tans, and that is laser hair removal as well. We do laser hair removal.
That's right, you started that. Was that last year you started that?
It was 2 years ago we started that. Very, very advanced, very complex. We were talking before this started about what qualifications we left school with, and laser is like advanced physics, which is one thing that I never took or qualified in. So it was very complex, but we're getting there with it. We are definitely, it's just a bit of a minefield sometimes.
I need some laser treatment, man. I'm like below the bear.
We would really want to tap into, guys.
Is that
we
right?
want to tap into a lot of different areas.
If you need any models,
I know, and we always start thinking, like, what guy would be up for this? So there we go. I'll keep you in mind.
You'll be there to next July with me, man. I've got hair everywhere. Cut that out.
No, there's so many things that you say into it.
So it's been around, Sassy's has been around for a while.
It has.
When did it start?
I think it started that long ago that, like, you don't put a date and a time on it. Like, I see so many businesses and they're like, this is my 5-year anniversary and stuff, and I'm like, was it 2000 and 2003. So we're going to go for 2003. That's what I kind of go with. So, last year I was saying that I was celebrating 21 years in the industry.
That's crazy.
I know. I don't look at it, don't I?
Absolutely not. Absolutely not. So was Sassy started straight out of school?
No, so it wasn't me that started it. It was my mum that started it.
Right.
So she had a nail bar and a sunbed shop, and she was actually Sassy Nails at Chalkies.
Right.
Sassy's the name came from my name, Sara. So when I was younger, seemingly, there was a wee cartoon that was like this wee lassie with a big head and honours of blonde hair, and she was called Wee Sassy Lassie, and my mum didn't know what to call a nail bar, so she called it Sassy Nails.
Oh, right.
So that's where it came from. She worked in the nail bar, and then the receptionist at Chalkies didn't have a member of staff, and I was doing my standard grades at the time, and my mum said to the owners, it was a kind of older couple, Irene and Donnie from Galston, I think they were from. They actually owned the first sunbed shop in Glasgow all the years ago. She said my daughter could take on the job, and that's when I started doing my standard grades, doing spray tans at 15 and doing the sunbeds.
Right. So you told me off camera though, you never realised this was something that you were
not at
wanting
all.
to do?
So typical 15, 16-year-old all the years ago back in 2003, staying on till 6 years was not a cool thing to do. So I was like, I want to leave school, I want to do beauty. My mum was like, no, you don't. And I was like, I do. So I've talked her into it for months. She was like, right, fine. I thought I'd be really bougie and go to read Karen Paisley, be an adult, and then like after about 2 weeks of getting the train every morning, I was like, oh my God, why have I made this decision? Why did I not just go to Kilmarnock? And so I started college in August, and then in November I came into the salon one day, and my mum said, Irene and Donnie are retiring and they're giving up this shop, so I've decided that I'm going to get rid of some of the sunbeds and take the nails off Sassy's and call it Sassy's, and we'll just run it as a salon. And I just looked at her and I was like, I don't want to be a beauty therapist. Right. And she was like, tough. And I was like, no, I just done that to go out of school. And she was like, tough. So actually a beauty therapist from another well-known salon that's no longer in Irvine, she had to come and give me a pep talk. So I was like, I cannot go into a room with a client, just me and them, and speak to them. And now, all these years later, I don't shut up.
But so how long did it take you to kind of find your love for it then about doing the job?
So that would have been about 2003, probably about 2010. Right,
that's quite a while.
Beauty wasn't what it is now. For 2003 to 2010, we'd done a basic eyebrow wax. The eyebrows that probably a lot of people in my industry now try to fix, that they can't fix because they're not this beautiful shape, because we were the people back then that were causing that bad shape. My column probably consisted of like an eyebrow wax, party lashes and a spray tan on nearly every single client, and now it's so much more advanced, so much more complex than that.
Right.
So it wasn't like an industry that it just wasn't what it is now. They didn't have social media. You didn't have like up and coming treatments and products, and so many clients wanting so much stuff. It was very, very basic. You know, it was like mere hair back then. Everybody went and got their hair done.
Right.
Some people went and got their nails done. You know, my mum was busy with nails, but there wasn't many other nail technicians in the area. I didn't have big competition. I didn't have anything like that. I actually moved to Spain. I applied for a job with Virgin Airways and never got it. And it was when I never got that job with Virgin that I thought, is the universe trying to tell me something? Should I be here, try to do this? So we moved location, and we spent a few years around there, and then the hairdressers left that. So there was a hairdressers in there that rented, and the salon that I was talking about previous, that the girl worked in, I always looked at that salon and thought, that looks so amazing, I wish I had something like that. I don't know how I like to say the salon's name, Mama, because it's no longer open. Can I say it?
Why not?
Put it in, I know. So it was a full
My
works.
podcast, right? I'll say what I want.
It was the full works in Irvine. Everybody in Irvine will know the full works.
Yep.
And I used to look at the full works and I used to think, oh, that looks great in there. Like everybody was just buzzing about, and that's where you went for stuff. And I was like, that's what I want to have. So when the hairdressers left that salon, we took it on. And oh my God, that was 2014, and that was just a total whirlwind. If anybody remembers that shop, it was colourful and bright. Do you remember that salon? Aye. We had like colourful stairs. We had like, across, I think at one point, 25 members of staff worked in Sassy's, both self-employed and employed.
Right.
But it was booming. It was crazy busy. You could not get an appointment. It was like, see if you ever get to the end of a nightclub. and they turn the music off and your ears have got that wee sound in them.
Aye.
That's what it was like after
Is
a
it?
shift
Was
in
it
there.
right?
Aye,
That's
like
quite
you had
interesting.
you had that wee buzz in your like ears, and it was great. But at the end of the shift, you were like, oh my god, what was that?
Take a breath.
It's just crazy every single day. And then I fell pregnant. I could see that there was some changes. A few of the hairdressers were looking at maybe having their own place, and I thought, do I want to look for new hairdressers and have this salon when I've got a baby and stuff? So my mum at that point, she didn't have anything to do with the business for a long time. She's not very good at running a business. She was just good at her work. She wasn't good at the business side of it. She was looking to give it up as well. And that's when I moved into the other salon. So I said that was my last move. I'm hoping that it was my last move. It was probably one of the best moves that I've made. I was really scared to make that move because I think there was like 5-6 of us and we all done the same treatment, just brows, intimate waxing spray tans, and I was like, are we going to be busy enough? And also, because that was so buzzing, that last salon, I remember saying to Lauren, the girl who works with me, I was like, is this going to be dead spa-like in here? Because I'm not a spa-like person. I'm loud. And our first shift, it was just so calming and it was beautiful, really beautiful. So we love it. I don't have any regrets. I speak to all the girls that used to work for me. I love them all. I watch them all grow. Some of them are in here, some of them are elsewhere. But I love what we have in Sassy's now.
Aye, that's cool. When did you officially take over, like, as the owner? I know you don't like that term, owner.
I don't like that term, owner.
But yeah.
2014, when we took on the bigger salon, so my mum had a few nail technicians that worked for her, but it was very, what's the word, like, it wasn't it's like a set in stone thing. It was just like, come work for me. And
Right.
she didn't have rules, she didn't have anything like that. So when we took on the bigger salon, she's like, I don't want to do this. Don't get me wrong, she put her 2 bobs worth in when she decided that she didn't like the way things were going.
Right.
She will laugh when she hears these things. But when we took on the bigger salon, she was like, don't ask me to do any of this. Like,
So how do you feel about that, about being, you know, the Hede, you know, the owner and head therapist and et cetera, et cetera? Like,
I don't love the titles. I probably do have tendencies in me that I like to, I'm a wee bit of a control freak and things like that. Like, I like to know how things are getting done, and I'm not very good at delegating, but it's really hard sometimes. I don't love that it's always me. I don't like the decision making.
Well, you say you're not very good, but essentially, how many staff have you got just now?
8 at
So
the
there's
moment.
8 staff.
Yes.
I mean, that's no easy feat though.
No.
You know, in terms of managing a team. So, I mean,
All
here,
the things that I've got and all the things that I've done has never really been on my 5-year plan. I don't even know if I've ever really had a 5-year plan. Probably at some time before I was a parent, I had a 5-year plan. I was very much in the zone. Now it's a bit scatty. But I didn't have I thrived to have like something like the full works without really knowing what that was, like employment and stuff like that. I didn't ever think, I want a team of this amount of people, or I want to do management. So I've never had any training. I've never done any business courses, any management courses, anything. I feel like when it goes right, I think, oh, I must be doing something right then. And when it goes bad, I'm like, I better find out how to fix that.
well, that's it. Because I mean, here, there's only 4 of us here, but the other guys, they're just freelancers, so they're not technically employed. They're self-employed. So, but are you quite? Would you say you're quite selective about, you know, who's part of your team, and, you know, because is there a vibe, like you're saying, you know, this is the feeling that you get when you finish a shift and whatever else. Is it? I mean, I see it as an onlooker, looking at your socials and obviously knowing you, but you can see that there's definitely a vibe of Sassy's and the type of person that's in there as, you know. So are you quite selective about who's on your team?
The majority of them have been there for a long time. So I wouldn't have said that I ever, like, at that point was like, this is the kind of person that I want.
Which is interesting then, because, like, it can be easy to have a high turnover of staff. So what is it that keeps your staff there and makes them a good team?
I think that's a question you need to ask them, is it no?
You're the Hede.
I know, but I think most business choices, decisions that I make, I run past them. And I don't know if but there might be a lot of people watching this that own a business and think, crazy. But I put myself in the shoes of my staff quite a lot. And I think if I worked here, would I like that? If I worked here, would I think that was fair? If I worked here, would I enjoy that? I ask them their opinion. If they don't like doing something, I look at why, and do you know what I mean? If there's anything I can do to make it better, but if there isn't anything, especially when it comes to treatments. So if they fall out of love with a treatment, I don't just take it off their service menu straight away, but I try and I try and find out why. And if they're really not enjoying doing it, they just stop doing it.
Right.
They just stop doing it because I think I wouldn't like to do a job that I didn't like.
So there's a sense of value and worth in what...
I like to try and think that there is. I like to try and give them as much work-life balance as possible. I try and be as fair as I can with them. The good thing is, like we said off camera as well, I work in a very self-employed industry. There's not very many people employed in my industry. But I've came from an employed background. So I used to be a wingle caller.
Give a wee rendition, come on.
No, I can't do that. But if you put me in the salon, you know, in my comfort zone, I start shouting out there for a laugh. So I come from an employed background. Maybe I've picked things up along the way. When I worked in the bingo and stuff, I felt like, I really like that they done that for me, and I've tried and put bits of that into my business. And I just say that my manager does come to me for treatments, and sometimes I do say to her, I'm really sorry for being who I was.
But there's a culture that exists in Sassy's, though, like, because you do stuff outside of work as well together.
We do a lot of stuff outside of work. We've just booked on a holiday.
Oh, have you?
Yeah.
Where to?
Gran Canaria, where I used to live. Very excited. So it's Jordan's 30th.
Right.
We always try and celebrate things like that in our work. They went to Portugal last year for Jackie's 40th. We went to Benidorm for our Christmas night out once because it was cheaper than we went for 2 nights. It was actually £140 for 2 nights.
No way.
Makes sense to go
That's
there.
cracking.
And I would allocate that time off for them to try and have that time, you know, like I don't mind shutting my salon. A few years ago in my bigger salon, that would have been an absolute no-go just by how busy we were. But we're a smaller, more compact team. So it's easier. We are quite close-knit. We spend a lot of time with each other. We'd go on nights out with each other and stuff. A lot of people think when a lot of girls work together, it must be dead bitchy in there. And it must, I mean, there is days where we're like, I liked you, what you said there. But we never ever argue, very rarely argue. We're very, very different, but we know what each other are like. So you can tell as soon as, like, I come into the staff room, or Lauren, Jackie, Jordan, we know as soon as I come into the staff room, like, what's wrong with him?
Right.
We'll get it out of them at some point, do you know what I mean? But we never have, like, there's no bitchiness, there's no backstabbing. I don't know how I've managed to do that. I don't know if I've just struck totally lucky in the staff that I've got, or if I have done something. Unfortunately, if you're watching this looking for advice, I'm not going to be able to give you advice because I really don't know what I've done to manage. Lauren just celebrated 10 years working in Sassy's in December just there. I was just like, I don't know how I've done it, but I'm very honoured that she's chose.
But that's it. It sounds to me like I said, with the culture that you've created in there, though, is, you know, there's a work-life balance, there's a synergy, you know, between you and your staff. You know, it's like a friendship. It's a friendship group.
Yeah.
You know,
I'm really quite transparent about quite everything in my business.
Yeah.
Like, I had a HR company used to work for me, and they're HR, and I get that's why their job. But when I would say to her, "This is what I'm planning," and then she would be like, "I don't know if I would tell them that much information." I'm like, "But why no? Because if I maybe say that to them, they'll see it from my point of view. I'm not hiding it in here."
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like, I need to show them that this is, when it comes to, like, financials or what the clients are saying, or just anything that you have as the business owner, that information that you have, because you've got every aspect of the information of your business. You know, some parts of it, or most parts of it, I don't mind saying to them. Like, actually, the last meeting that I had, and I showed them this, I actually made 2 lassies leave, and I'm like, good, because they seen the financials of mine, and one of them was like, am I aiming for that? And I was like, well, go for it. Upset that they left, but I wasn't angry at all.
Right.
Upset, yeah, hurt. I think just because one of them had worked for me for 8 years, and Debbie, she had worked for 4 years. I don't know if you want to edit names, but they might watch this. But it was a blow. So maybe in certain aspects of my business, the way I run it, it becomes very, very personal for me, and it's not about a business. I can't just see somebody walk out the door and think, all right, Whereas when you don't maybe treat your staff to the level that maybe I do on a personal level and values and stuff like that, that's the difference. Like, I take a lot on. I overthink things, I overanalyse things.
Yeah.
Like, when I go home, like, I wonder how that made them feel. I wonder if I make this decision, like...
So what then does your work-life balance look like then, personally?
It's really funny because I was actually thinking this the day when I drove to Tesco. I went, I don't know how I've managed this, but I have become like a Monday to Friday worker with a weekend off.
Great.
So
how'd you do that?
I don't know how I've managed to do that, but I work a lot on Monday to Friday.
Yep.
But I try no day stuff Saturday, Sunday. That's probably because I've got a child now. Work-life balance, I don't really have a work-life balance, if I'm honest.
Right. Why'd you say that?
I'm all right with that. Some days I'm like, is this it? But then the majority of the time, I'm always busy and I like being busy. So I'm really, really passionate about my business. Mm-hmm. It's like the be-all and end-all. Not the be-all and end-all for me, but I've done it for so long. I love what it is. And it's nothing to do with finances. It's nothing to do with... I just want to create this place. I really hope that in 50 or 60 years' time, people of Irvine or North Ayrshire will be like, mind that place, that was great, wasn't it? Mm. And something that I say at my staff meetings, actually, going back to talking about staff, is I always say to them, I want you sitting in a nursing home and saying, I had this one job once and it was great. We were a team of folk and we had a laugh and folk come in and we done treatments on them and made them feel great, and we had because we have a great laugh with our clients as well, do you know what I mean? Mm. So that's how much I love my business. So I don't mind sometimes doing the work. Sometimes when they're really hard business jobs, I'm like...
And what are they? What are the hard business jobs? Because this podcast is called Many Hats.
Yes.
So you're not just a therapist, you know, you're not just
if I could
doing
just
treatments.
If the business could just run beautifully and I could just sit and do treatments, that would be an ideal world for me. But unfortunately, every time I'm away for a client, I've got somebody saying to me, you know, I don't like I don't love answering emails. I don't like dealing with any kind of financials. I pay my accountant a lot of money, so that the less I need to deal with, the better.
Right.
I just, like, every other day check my bank and I think, oh, that's all right, like, there's some money there, so we'll just keep moving. So I don't really do anything financially. I don't love that. I'm VAT registered, and I know that's, as a business owner, quite a frowned upon thing. Oh, I need to pay value added tax. I try and look at it as a positive. You've earned a certain amount of money, that you're at a VAT threshold. But I don't like the way that makes me feel that certain decisions have got to be based on the finances. Mm-hmm. Do you know what I mean? Like, how much is that treatment costing? Now that we need to pay that. Mm-hmm. How much this, because now we need to pay that. I don't love how that makes me feel as a business owner, because I would just... Sorry, I keep going dry. I just wish there was like a set price I could charge and just everybody would come and have a good time.
Yep.
But sometimes I've got to make decisions based on finances, and I hate that. I hate doing price increases because I know it's really cost of living crisis and stuff. What else do I not like then?
You know, like what do you like then?
I like having my treatments. I like doing my staff. I love seeing my staff grow. I like doing training days with my staff. I'm really hoping to get into training. I do master classes for people that are already qualified. I am qualified trainer, but writing a manual is an elephant in a room for me because I'm not good at sitting at a table and putting what's in my brain on a bit of paper.
Yeah,
because I feel like I've got so much to learn, so much to teach people. My industry isn't very regulated. I could fire out manuals that are like a 2-3 hour course. This is how I do a brow. Let me see you doing it. That's your qualified, see you later. And that's what's wrong with my industry. I feel like I want my courses to be... I want you to walk away knowing, like, I know what that product is, what's in it, and the thing that's in it's what's making that, and what happens if that goes wrong, and what happens if it goes right. And so when I sit and try and put pen and paper, I'm like, oh, I don't know how I'm fitting that into a lesson plan. So I go, all right, we'll not do that today. And this is a standing joke between me and my staff, because every other meeting that I have, I'm like, and hopefully we'll have the academy up and running this year.
Do you tend to do that? Do you put things off that aren't within your likeable sphere of your job?
And it's so funny because I put things off and then see one day I just do it dead fast, and Jack's like, why has it took you 2 years to do it? I'm like, I don't know. I wasn't in the mood to
I
do
do
it
that
for
as
2
well.
years.
Procrastination is an absolute monster in my life.
It's only maybe been about a year or two that I've actually realised that, like, wow, I do that. I do procrastinate. Like, I wouldn't have said that I did.
Yeah.
I would have said I was quite a go-getter. And then the last year or two, I'm like, oh, God, I do.
I'm a go-getter in the things that I enjoy doing.
Aye.
So I'll sit down and I'll do a task. If I really enjoy it, I'll put 100% into it and I'll do it well.
Yep.
But see, like you're saying, the things that I don't enjoy doing, I'll put them off and put them off and put them
Yep.
off to the point where it's literally the last minute and there's no way of getting around this anymore, that I have to do it.
Yep. Things like that, I like being the owner because I think I would make a really bad member of staff.
All right.
Aye, because like
Be fired.
till the last minute, I'm like, I will do that tomorrow, and then I'm like, right, it's done. And they're like, well, we've been waiting a fortnight. So that's why I like being like the boss, because I'm like, nobody's telling me what I can do tomorrow if I want. That's a good point of being the owner, I suppose. I love having a team of people. I don't think I would. No, I don't know if I would still be doing this if I didn't have my team.
Right.
I do really enjoy that aspect. I like working with them. I don't know if I would like to work myself. Sometimes I go into the salon to do clients like when it's shut and I'm like, God, this is beautiful. It's dead quiet in here. But I think long term, you wouldn't be able to do this.
You'd be
Sarah.
bored.
You need that. I'm a people person.
Need that culture of just people around you. And that's fair enough. I used to be like that, but I've actually went in the opposite direction. I've got this space to myself most of the time and I love it. I just love the solitude, and it's like a man cave in here now. It's just like, this is what my house would probably look like if I didn't have Wayne's. You know, this would be it. But
Yep.
what does the future of Sassy's look like? Because you do stuff like apprenticeships and stuff as well, young folk through, and obviously finding their feet as well. I've met a few of them. But what does the future look like? What beyond, you and what you do?
So I would have said, if you asked me this time last year, I would have just said like me and my staff, do my wee thing. Years ago in the bigger Sassies, I wanted hundreds of Sassies. I remember years and years ago my mum saying to me, we're having a conversation, this is general salon chat, what would you do if you won the lottery? And the client saying whatever she would do if she won the lottery. My mum's like, I'd buy somewhere in the Maldives, somewhere this, somewhere that, somewhere in New York, I'd have all these Sassies. Mum's like, Sarah, what would you do if you won the lottery? And I was like, I would open up hundreds of Sassies and have it like a franchise, like Tony and Guy or something. She's like, really? And I'm like, well, I'm a worker. I'm a worker. And I suppose that's where I struggle with being the owner, because really in an ideal world, I should not do as many clients as what I do. I spend as much time on the salon floor as what I do, because I work like a worker in there. I probably work about 22 hours a week doing clients.
Right.
And I'm
That's
a single parent, so then trying to run a business out within that. So that's why I'm probably like a scatty mess most of the time, and I don't have that good work-life balance, because I just can't seem to pull myself away from doing the clients.
Right.
I really enjoy doing it. Sometimes it gets too much for me and I'm like, oh my God, why have I done this? And Jackie's staring at me like, have you done it? No, I was.
You're the owner.
And I'm like, right, next month I can't take as many clients. And block that time off, block this time off. And then I do it and I'm like, oh no, I need my clients. I want to
You
do
need
this. So it's me. I'm the problem and I get that. What was I talking about?
Well, the future, what it looks like.
So this time last year I would have just said like, just do my thing, providing a service to the people of Irvine, and having a good time while we do it. And I still want to do that to a certain level, but I would say in the last year I've employed 3 new members of staff, and Evie that worked with us, she now works on the salon floor. She was just like the salon junior at the time, and she's doing treatments. And when I've started doing all that, I'm thinking I'm at an age now where I kind of keep striving for this perfect team all the time. People are going to come and go. I work in a self-employed industry, and it got me thinking that with the knowledge that I've got and my staff that have worked with me for a long time, if I'm hoping this is the plan that goes well, we open up the academy. They're going to laugh at this, but
hopefully
we open up the academy, and my team of loyal Sassy staff that have been there for so long and looking to advance to the next level of their career, because it's a hard shift. I know it doesn't look it, but you're standing for like 12 hours.
I'm sure.
It's can be quite, and I hate saying this because sometimes clients are like, oh aye, and I'm like, but it can be quite mentally draining. We take a lot on for people. That's somebody's safe space to come and vent. I don't have an opinion on their life. You know, if you done something cheeky in your life and you told your pals, they've got an opinion on it. You told your parents, they've got an opinion on it. They come to me and I'm like, shut up. And they're like, aye, and I'm like, oh my God, what you got to do? So I'm their mutual ground. Do
Right.
you know what I mean? So and then I take all that on. So I have tears, I have laughter, I have everything on my chair, and I love it. I've lost myself again, but I know where I am. I do this quite a lot, Stuart, just to let you know.
It's all right. We're here all day.
So I would like to have a salon that still offers the people of Ayrshire a really good service, but offers the people that I want to come into this industry a place to gain knowledge, experience, clientele, and then move on.
Right.
Because I know that employed is the way. But for my lassies that have worked with me for a long time and been there for a long time and looking to advance to training and maybe coming off the salon floor a wee bit, offering them, like, you know, have your clients, your really good regular clients, on this amount of days a month. The rest of the time we're doing training. Some of the people will get an opportunity to work in Sassy's if the space is there. Other people might just want to come and training and they've got their own space. But I know, based on speaking to girls that have got their own salon or renting a room or anything like this, like, it's hard. They don't know what they're doing. They come out and it's sold to them in a way that it's like, do you want to start earning £500 a month? You're not going to do that for years and years, believe me. Maybe at Christmas week you'll make £500 a week. At the beginning, also you've been on a course that's lasted 4 hours. What you got to do if it goes wrong? Who have you got to go to? Nobody. These wee lassies are 20, 21, 25 even. It's still a really young age to be like, have that on your shoulders. You do a treatment and it goes wrong, who you going to? And if you come to me and then you're training with me and maybe get employed with me for a year, say, this isn't an ideal world, you know, who knows if this is going to happen, and then go. But if you ever need my help or support, I'm there. I want to get to that level. I'm hoping that I get to that level.
You're doing that, because you can see that with the staff that you've got, the apprentices that you're bringing through as well. How do you feel about that? Like, it must be quite a bit of pressure.
I don't feel the pressure of it. I don't know. Maybe I do and I just handle it good. I don't know. I don't feel the pressure of... I have fears sometimes that I hope that when a client comes in and gets service from us, that it's to a level, but I drum that into them.
Yeah.
I'm like, you expect that, let's just say it's a £12 eyebrow wax. I'm like, you treat that client like that is the last 12. She has told you that is the last £12 she's got, and she can't feed her wings in it. You treat her like that's her last £12, so that when she walks out this door, she thinks, I'll find some way to feed my wings, my eyebrows look good, and I feel good after that 15 minutes with that, rather than, I can't believe I spent that £12 on that eyebrow wax, how am I feeding my wings? I'm like, that is the attitude you need to look at. Don't ever assume that a client has got money, or, do you know, she could come in head to toe designer, but do not assume that, like, well, she can afford that, so
Just
do not have that attitude.
Yep.
Do not have that attitude. Like, and I always say to them, put yourself in the client's shoes. Would you think that's all right? And if you don't think that's all right, say to them, I don't think I've done a good enough job. I'm going to speak to my manager and see them fix it. And this is what I mean with my self-employed industry. 10 years ago, if somebody told me to do it, I'd be like, "Are you sure that's what I'm going to do?" I'd be like, "That's sure, see you later, bye." Like,
Right.
Go away. You know, because you don't have the confidence at a certain age or a certain level in your career to say, I'm not actually happy with that work I've done. Can you give me a chance to fix it?
Right.
I'm at that level now,
Right.
and try to drum that into people.
Well, that's the question. Does it ever go wrong?
They've got me. So
are you the last kind of...
if they do a treatment and they don't think, they'll say, I'm just going to get my manager. Now, in nearly every industry, that is what you do. But in my industry, everybody just gets sold on this. If I go on a brow course, I'm going to start earning £500 a week.
Yep.
And they go and they start renting a room and they decorate it all lovely, but they don't actually know that there's so much more to running a business and doing that treatment that you've for 4 hours. And that's another thing I'd like to bring into my academy. Salon etiquette is a thing of the past, I see.
Right.
And that's a bold comment for me, but it is like certain... I was taught for like a uniform, a sense of like you are that person, how you put yourself out there, what you promote yourself as. Like, I see myself very much on par with, and this is another bold comment, I don't know if you want to put this in, like, you know, when you start working for the NHS, you say an oath. I feel like that with my clients and the services that I do, like...
That's pretty serious.
But like, that is my job, to provide that service for you and be 100% professional in every single aspect.
Yep.
You wouldn't go into the NHS and say my uniform wasn't washed today, so I'm just going to wear my joggies to my work today. No, I come in a uniform every single day. I was training on Wednesday, I didn't have a client, but I was doing a client, so I went in on uniform.
Right.
and I'm 22 years in.
So you're drumming that into your staff.
Aye.
That's the etiquette. That's the standard.
Yep. And it doesn't need to be like a tunic or anything like that. It just has to be like professional clothes, so that if somebody comes in and says, I want to speak to the person that owns this place, I'm not happy, you look like you're ready to deal with that.
How do you feel about that? About, being
I feel like
the buck stopping with you?
Like if somebody come in, I don't know, I'm all right with it. I think.
You all right with it? I don't know. I get the fear. See when something goes wrong, like we make a mistake on something and the buck stops with me. Like, because I've got a terrible case of imposter for people that are listening to this podcast, by the way. I'm not doing a pee. This is pouring some water.
I'm so self-conscious about this wee hang dangling as
It's
well.
all right. Just in case people are wondering what the heck's he doing. I get paranoid, because imposter syndrome just sets in with me, and I think it's the buck stops with me.
Yep.
And I'm
I
like,
get through
I'm not good
phases
enough, or I'm terrible at my job at what I do and stuff like that, just because, as I say, the buck stops with me.
Yeah. So when it comes to treatments,
It's a matter, by the way.
thanks. When it comes to treatments, I don't always have imposter syndrome, but I go through it at least once a month. And if you're a woman watching this, you'll know when that is, that I go through imposter syndrome. And on my staff day, and sometimes we'll sit in the staff room and like a member of staff will just say to me, shit brows this week. And I'm like, I was shit brows last week. See, recognising that imposter syndrome, like sometimes I do need to go, right, Sarah, hold on, you're cutting corners here.
Right.
No overlaying a treatment or just sometimes overall, I just think you're not being the best. And I rein myself in, and that's what a manager does, isn't it? They say to you, just remember we're all here to do this and be this person and blah, blah, blah. So it's good that my staff have got that. And I suppose I've got that, what's the word? Like, is it willpower?
And self-worth, I suppose, as well.
To remind myself that, like, no, hold on, you're not quite doing good
And
enough.
you are good
need to-
enough.
Aye. When it comes to, that's when it comes to my treatment, sometimes I think, take a step back, yeah. How would you like to do this better?
Mm-hmm.
But when it comes to the management side of it and having staff work under your name, I've never came across a member of staff that's been no nice to a client.
Right.
So thank God, I don't know how I would deal with that. Well, I would just wing it.
Just wing
If
it.
the client was in front of me, I'd be like, right, okay, but I wouldn't like that either, so I get it. But I have had complaints from staff, from clients about like being in my business or a treatment that client expectations is a very, very hard thing to master because everybody's expectations is different. But I put myself in the client's shoes and I think, no, you're right. What you're saying, I wouldn't be happy with that either. There's your money back.
Right.
Or can you give me a chance to fix it? Can you come back into the salon? I know nobody likes that confrontation, but listen, I just try and be sound with them the way I would like somebody to be with me because saying I don't like what you've done to me, it's a hard thing for people to say. I don't love saying that. I don't love going and saying I don't like that food that you've given me. I'm like, that's great, thanks.
Yeah.
I'm no good at it. But then I think, see, if this was my business, I want you to come and tell me. I want to know how we can fix things. You can't be perfect.
Yep. You want to be the best that you can be as a business.
I want to be the best that I can be, but I also know that like I'm not going to manage everybody's expectations, and some people are going to leave you and say, I didn't love the brows, I didn't love that spray tan. As long as it was done to my staff or mine's best abilities, that's all right that you don't like it. Like, you'll find your person. And this was something that I learned a couple of years ago as well. It just must have hurt me one day. Somebody can sit in my chair for the first time and I know if they're going to be a regular client of mine within 5-10 minutes.
Yeah. Just by.
And it's nothing personal to the client and it's nothing personal to me. I can just feel the vibe straight away.
Right.
And the client that I know is not going to come back to me, we still have a good time. She still has nice brows. But I just think, you're not booking back in with me. And then there's other clients that I think, how's this the first time I'm meeting you? Like, come on, me and you should be pals.
Let's go to Benidorm.
So then I say this
The staff
sometimes.
retreat.
I say this to my clients. I'm going to have a big sassy event. All my clients, come on, you're coming. I say this to some of my clients and I say it to my staff and they're looking at me like, what? That's merely saying like you don't like a client. It's no saying that. It's saying that, like, see the first time you go on a date with somebody, you're not expected to go into a relationship with them. So see the first time you come to me for a brow appointment, you're not expected to be loyal to me. Like, if it's not just about the treatment, it's about the whole experience. You're going to sit with me. I do a very, very personal treatment. It's very, very intimate. Most things that women don't like about themselves, I'm the person that
sees it
removes
all.
Aye. And sometimes I need to say to them, you want that done? And they're like, is that something that you do? And I'm like, you want to bet I do that? And they're like, I thought I was the only person with that. And I'm like, no, we've all got it. And they're like, no. I said, you've been walking about all these years of your life thinking that you're the only person with X, Y, and Z. And they're like,
wow.
Like hairy toes on women. That's a subtle one, right?
Let's just dive deep into this. Go for it.
That's a subtle one. So hairy toes on women. I walked into the waxing room the other day, it was a young lassie, and I went, you getting your socks on because you're cold, or you hiding your hairy feet from me? She was like, I says, I wax feet, and she's like, do you? And I'm like, aye, socks off straight away. Right. And it kills me to think that lassie's walking about thinking she's the only person with hairy feet. Every single lassie has got hairy feet, hairy toes, by the way. I've got hairs everywhere. It's all right. It's my job to take them away. Then people come in sometimes and they go, I'm dead hairy, by the way. And I'm like, good. Because if you weren't there, this would be a bit boring for me. I know you don't love being hairy, but I'm here to fix it, don't worry.
That's where the conversation kicks off.
This is it. So we have such intimate conversations, personal. I do not expect every single person to vibe with me. So I can tell, just with years and years of doing it, 5-10 minutes into treatment, I think, you're probably not going to book back in with me. Or she might book back in, try a few times, and then one day they'll not get me, they'll try somebody else. Like, I have clients come up to me sometimes saying, listen, I didn't like your treatments, but just Jordan had space. I'm just using Jordan as an example. And I'm like, sorry, you don't need to explain yourself to me. And I've been on Night Suit before, and people are like, I know I never come back. And I'm like, please don't explain yourself to me. It is your money.
Yep.
I do not expect that kind of loyalty. Is that the right thing to say? I don't know. I am extremely grateful for the loyalty that I have of my clients, but this is where it comes into place where, like, Virgin Own, it's no as hardcore as the NHS oath. I just mean that oath. Like, you're no loyal to me. I'm providing a loyal service. Use it if you want. Don't use it if you want. Use it twice a year if you want. Dip into me, dip into somebody else. Do whatever you need to do with your money. But don't expect that, like, you owe me. You don't. I'm just here providing a service.
Interesting. But so you've created this culture of Sassy's, the experience in the salon, and amongst your staff, your clients come in, you're obviously very intimate with some people as well. Tell me about then what your brand, because you've got a very strong brand in Sassy's. Would you say that all of that, the culture of the staff, the salon, would you say that's part of your brand and who you are? And yeah,
I think so, definitely. So another point that I always try to make to clients is in the bigger salon, social media was kind of up and coming at that point, and it was like beautiful hairdos. Got a 40, 45, 40s, two hairdressers running about it, one holding a light here, one doing this, and then nails with nail art, and we're all beautiful. And we walked up the stairs, and I'm like, we're like the pure underdogs, and this is my salon. Like, we can't take pictures of people's top lip hair. Like, A, the winning light is, and 2, what's interesting about that? So I used to feel like the underdog, and actually sometimes I used to stand and, like, see if I went to the receptionist and I'm talking, and like some people would actually say, doing it and you want to do my eyebrows, which is fine, but I used to kind of want to say, you wouldn't come in here and for your eyebrows and go like that to your hairdresser, doing it and you want to give me a cut and blow dry. You see me as something totally different for this nail technician and this hairdresser. They're like superior, we're the underdogs, we're just doing eyebrow waxing, top lip waxing, like spray tans. That's like after these feel-good factor treatments. I don't want nail technicians and hairdressers hating on me. I've got a very good relationship with you all, and I'm glad about his day, for myself included.
Disclaimer.
Yes, that is a disclaimer. So I felt like the underdog in my own salon. I felt like we didn't have this fabulous like outcome to show people. We weren't your first port of call, getting the hair done and the nails done, and that's what you were greeted with when you went into the reception. Then we went into that salon, and especially after lockdown, I was just like, wow, the penny has dropped here. You could go and get your hair dyed, hair extensions, blow dried, go and get your nails done, go and get your makeup done. But see, if you've got hairs in places you don't want to have them, you're not feeling good about yourself. Believe me, you're not feeling good about yourself. You can't get a spray tan without getting your hairs removed. If you want to shave them, that's fine. But the treatments that we did, and it was only like, especially after lockdown, it was the clients' reactions are like, never again am I sitting in the house for 5 months. No. A lot of people's partners don't know they've got hairs in places they don't want to have them.
Right.
These are all normal things, and I'm trying to normalise it, by the way. So I thought, we are not the underdog. You actually can't do all the other things without us. So I feel like I've got like a the upper hand now with things like that. Like, a lot of people are saying I couldn't have cared if I didn't have my hair dyed, but see all these hairs, like, no, we need to get them all off.
Right.
So I love that for us.
Yeah.
When we felt like in the old salon we weren't really anything special.
Good for you. You're hitting the socials harder now.
Trying. Do you know what's harder than doing social media? Is trying to get your staff involved, because I don't want it to be my big face all the time. But
it's good though, because socials is obviously a part of your brand as well, and you want people to see what it's like to experience, you know, same in store.
Yeah.
You know,
that's what I'm trying to kind of put across on social media. It's, harder than what that sounds, because you think, well, you're just doing it, just film it. But I feel like as soon as I'm like, I would need to have the camera set up 24/7, 365, and editing a video with a 12-hour shift is not the one for me. So, because something will happen sometimes, and I'm like, oh my God, see if I had that video, that would be so good to put on social media.
I like the one you did. You were
The
obviously
phone
showing the phone cover one. I thought that was
So
hilarious.
good. It's so good.
Did it blow up? Did it go viral or something, or was it?
No, I never
or did it
really
just
went
perform
viral
well?
with that one. I could get like 13,000 views or something on TikTok. It's no. See, to be honest, do I want to go viral on social media? No, really. See people that are viral, and I watch their videos, and then I go into the comments. I'm thinking, I don't know if I could handle that, because it's so negative. Everybody's got something bad to say about.
Oh, I know. It's,
and I just
it's
think,
unreal.
I just want the people that want to see the Sassy's bits. I want all yous coming in and seeing it.
I did a video last year or the year before, and it went viral. It had 4 million views, right? And it was a wedding. It was just a funny moment in a wedding ceremony. The celebrant was brilliant, and it went viral. This funny moment, and see the amount of negative comments were in it, and it was actually a really nice, wholesome moment.
Yeah.
Celebrant was great. Kept the bride and groom really relaxed. Made a funny joke, whatever else. All the guests and everything were all laughing, whatever else. See the amount of folk that come on and says, oh, she just made it all about herself and blah, blah, blah. It was like,
I know.
Why are people so negative?
I know, and
on
I just
socials?
don't think I could. I'm an overanalyzer, I'm an overthinker. I would sit and go through all that, and I would be hurt. And so I'm just like, I strive so much. Like, when you go on social media, and I think, see if one of these things blew up, I'd be out. And then I watched every snippet of one of your other podcasts with the guy for Grow.
Aye.
And what he said exactly about social media, that happens all the time.
Yeah,
By the way,
that's right.
I day browse, and I'm like, no, you might just see one of the lassies will day browse, and I'm like, beautiful, get them on your editing. The song is in tune. Like, as soon as it goes for the before and after, I've got the beat of a song on, and I'm like, listen to this, and I don't even know if people are listening to reels with the music on, but I'm like, oh, we've got it all happening. I've got a great caption.
Yeah.
I'm like, that so goes with that. And it's like 13 likes, and then sometimes we just post something, and I'm like, like I put a wee thing on with me and Amy doing Gen Z and millennials.
Oh, yeah.
Because my goodness me, that's a shock to my system, employing these new people. We have a laugh about it daily. Another disclaimer. But so we put that wee thing on, and like within like 2 hours, it had like 110 likes. And I'm like,
Is that right?
it took us 2 seconds to make that. And here I am, noting my pan in, doing beautiful brows, posting the photos of them so you can see the work that we actually do, you know, the laughs that we have. And that nobody's interested.
It's amazing how something so raw can then completely blow up, but then something really polished can do terrible. But right, to finish up.
Oh, is that time?
I know it's flew in, hasn't
I
it?
hope I've made sense.
You've been great. It's been great to get a bit of
so.
insight. Oh, absolutely. It's been great to get a bit of insight to your business and a wee peek behind the curtain about what you do. You told me off camera that you left school, you had no qualifications leaving school.
I had 2 in English, that's how long ago it was I was at school. It was numbers, no letters.
There's no letters. Standard grades?
Standard grade. I 2 in English.
Yeah. I wasn't much better. I had 1 higher, I think.
I went to my, you need to get it signed off. I got 5 for biology, and I went to my biology teacher, and he went, what is it you're planning on doing? I said, I'm going to college to do beauty, and he went, you need biology for that, and shut the door in my face.
Really? That's shocking. Why are teachers so like that sometimes? Like, they're still
You
like
do
that,
need
by the way.
biology for beauty, but...
Aye, but teachers are still like that. Like, well, no, all of them, that's better cut that out, but a lot of teachers are still like that. But you left school, you have basically grafted to a point where, as I said, you've created a culture where you've made a great brand in Sassy's. You've got a good staff team, a loyal team, loyal clients as well. If there's somebody that's thinking about, not necessarily in the beauty industry, but if somebody's thinking of a concept, an idea a business opportunity, like what would be your advice and to that person? Like if they were thinking about starting something up or taking an idea or a concept, what would be your advice getting into business?
If it's something that you really love, like you should have done it before now. Because I love my job and I don't ever feel like I'm working. Like it is so true what they say, cliche and true. Like if you love what you do, you'll never have to work a day in your life. But just be yourself, like totally authentic, be yourself, and just put that right through your business every single time. Like always put yourself in the shoes of the people that you're trying to put your business onto. So like your clients or whatever it is, like put yourself in their shoes. What would they like to hear? What would they like from you? Like what would you have liked to have seen if somebody came to you with this idea? Then put that onto them. It's always going to work. And if you're passionate about something, it does work eventually. I'm not saying it's easy, but it does work.
It's not easy. No, you're right. It's not. But like saying, if you enjoy what you do,
it's going to shine through.
Somebody said to me actually, there was an old saying: if you love what you do, you'll never work a day in your life. And I think that's bull. I think if you love what you do, you'll work harder than you've ever worked in your life. You know, because you enjoy it. You work hard at it, and you're obviously an example of that because you work very hard, like you're saying, and you put in well over the hours, but you love doing it.
Yep.
That true to say?
Aye, that would be a better saying, wouldn't it?
Okay. Okay, fair enough.
Maybe you should try and change it. You're saying.
Stuart, quote Stuart Forsyth.
To be a thing on.
Never know. I'm whelping that on my socials later. Sarah, thank you very much. Appreciate you coming round and giving us a wee bit of insight. And yeah, thanks for your time. Whatever platform you are listening or watching this on, I'd love it if you'd subscribe. Because if you subscribe, then the algorithm gods put it out to more people. And people see it organically. So I'd love it if you hit the subscribe button. I was checking analytics the other day, and 80% of the listeners to this podcast do not subscribe. So see that wee button? Just click it now. Just date the now. Just click it. And then that's you done. Thanks for listening to the Many Hats podcast. I'll see you in the next episode. Cheerio.
Thanks for listening to this episode of the Many Hats podcast. Remember to hit subscribe to be notified of all new episodes. For any questions or topic ideas, you can reach Stuart on Instagram at many_hats_podcast. We'll see you next time.